Everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to change their life and wake up one day as a hero. But the truth is that most people fail, not because success is a secret for only a few people, but because they believe that big results always need big actions. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect plan, or the perfect opportunity to arrive. While they are waiting for a miracle, their dreams slowly fade away. But what if the secret to greatness is not about taking a giant leap over a mountain? What if it is simply about taking small steps every single day? What if just a 1% improvement today could lead to a completely different life next year? Let me tell you a story about a young man named Lucas. Lucas lived in a quiet town where the hills were high and the rivers ran deep. He was 19 years old, an age where most people feel they should have the whole world in their hands. However, Lucas felt like he was falling behind. When he looked at his phone, he saw his old friends from school living in big cities with bright lights. They had fancy jobs, they wore expensive clothes, and they seemed to be winning at everything. Lucas, on the other hand, stayed in his hometown. He was an apprentice for an old man named Mr. Thompson, who was a master of building dry stone walls. These were walls built without any cement or glue, held together only by the weight of the stones and the skill of the builder. Lucas was an ordinary young man. He was average in school, average at sports, and he felt average in his heart. Every time he compared himself to others, he felt small. He wanted to change. He wanted to be someone people talked about with respect. Over the last year, he had tried to transform himself many times. One week, he decided he would become a great runner. He bought new shoes and tried to run until the sun went down, but his legs felt like heavy lead and his chest burned. After 3 days, he quit. Then he tried to learn a new language by staying up all night with a thick book, but the words looked like tiny ants on the page, and he gave up within a week. He even tried to wake up before the birds started singing, but the warmth of his bed was too strong, and he failed by Wednesday. Every time he failed, Lucas told himself, "Maybe I am just not good enough. Maybe I am destined to be average forever." He felt like his life was a heavy stone that he simply could not move. One afternoon, the sun was hot and the air was still. Lucas and Mr. Thompson were working on a wall that stretched across a long green field. Lucas was frustrated. He was trying to lift a massive rock, but it wouldn't fit no matter how hard he pushed. He let out a loud sigh and sat down on the grass. "This is useless," Lucas muttered. "I've been working for hours, and this wall looks exactly the same as it did this morning. It's just a pile of rocks. Why does it take so long to build something so simple?" Mr. Thompson, who was much older and had hands that were rough and strong like the bark of an old oak tree, didn't look up. He was holding a small, jagged stone about the size of a piece of fruit. He turned it over in his hands, looking at it carefully. "Do you see this little guy?" Mr. Thompson asked, holding up the small stone. Lucas shrugged. "It's just a tiny rock, Mr. Thompson. It's not going to hold up a wall." The old man smiled and walked over to a gap between two of the largest boulders in the wall. He tucked the small stone into the empty space. It fit perfectly. Suddenly, the two large boulders, which had been wiggling a little bit before, became rock solid. They didn't move an inch. "A wall is not built by the big stones alone, Lucas," Mr. Thompson said softly. "The big stones get all the attention, but it is the thousands of tiny stones that fill the gaps and hold the weight. Life is exactly like this wall. You don't need to change everything all at once. You don't need to move a mountain in a single afternoon. You just need to find one small stone and put it in the right place. Just make your wall 1% better than it was yesterday." That is the only secret for a long time, thinking about those words. He decided he would try this 1% rule in his own life. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't make a big announcement on social media. He just started. Instead of trying to run for a long time, he decided to just walk to the old oak tree at the end of his street every morning. It was a short walk, not far at all, but he did it every single day. Instead of trying to read a whole book in one night, he read just 2 pages before he went to sleep. When he felt his eyes getting heavy, he stopped. Instead of trying to save a mountain of money, he put just a few coins into an old glass jar on his desk every evening. At first, the progress was invisible. His legs still felt a little tired. He didn't feel any smarter after reading 2 pages. The glass jar looked almost empty. He felt a voice in his head saying, "This is a waste of time. Nothing is happening." But he remembered Mr. Thompson's wall. He remembered that small stone. So he kept going. After 30 days, things started to shift. His short walk to the tree turned into a light jog. The 2 pages of reading turned into 5, and he found himself actually enjoying the stories. He had saved enough coins to buy a nice pair of work gloves. After a few months, the changes were no longer invisible. His body looked stronger and leaner. He found he could speak more clearly and with more confidence because he had learned so many new words from his books. People in town started to notice. "Lucas looks different," they would say. "He walks with his head held high." One day, a neighbor's fence was knocked down by a fallen tree during a storm. Lucas went over to help. He moved the heavy wood and fixed the post with a level of focus and strength that surprised everyone. When they thanked him and asked how he had become so handy and strong, Lucas just smiled and said, "I didn't change overnight. I just tried to be 1% better today than I was yesterday." By the end of the year, Lucas looked back at the glass jar. It was full of coins. He looked at the stack of books he had finished. There were more than 10 of them. He went for a run and realized he could go for a very long way without feeling tired. But the biggest change was in his mind. He no longer felt average. He realized that success is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is about showing up when you are tired. It is about placing that one small stone even when you don't feel like it. The 1% rule had turned a frustrated boy into a confident man. He realized that a 1% improvement every day doesn't just add up, it multiplies. If you get 1% better every day for a year, you end up 37 times better than when you started. That is the power of the small stone. True greatness is not a sudden lightning bolt that hits you from the sky. It is a fire that you build, one small piece of wood at a time. Many of us feel stuck because we are looking at the top of the mountain and feeling tired before we even start. We think that if we cannot do something big, then doing something small is a waste of time. But that is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Small actions repeated daily create an unstoppable momentum that can change your destiny. Whether you want to learn a new skill, get healthy, or build a better career, the answer is the same. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to be better. Ask yourself right now, what is one small thing I can do today to be 1% better? Maybe it is drinking a glass of water, reading one page, or saying a kind word to a stranger. These tiny steps are the bricks that build the castle of your dreams. If you enjoyed this story and want to keep feeding your mind with lessons that help you grow, please subscribe to this channel and join our community. Let's commit to being 1% better together, one day at a time. Remember, your 1% today is the foundation for your 100% tomorrow. Your journey to greatness starts with the very next stone you pick up.